Hello, it's my birthday.
Hi.
It's Dan. You guys remember Dan? I'm gonna post the video with us next, so by the time this one comes out, they should be like, oh yeah, Dan, I like that guy.
Oh, okay.
Or fuck that guy. If you saw the title of the video, it's my top 10 movies of 2018. But before any of that, it's my birthday, and I got free Canadian whiskey from Perfect Pour, so I'm gonna chug this.
It's a bit more than a shot.
Yeah, this feels like it's 100 milliliters.
Oh.
What's it? How many liters are in a shot?
Liters?
Yeah.
Not many. I think standard... standard shooter's 50 milliliters, and that's a little bit more than a standard shot. So you got like 2.5, maybe 3
Do you want half?
No.
Okay. Can I use your...
Go ahead.
Cool. Ooh. I'm 30. Shut up! No, I'm kidding. You're good.
Oh, not even a one go?
That's really sweet.
Is it?
Yeah. It wouldn't all fit in my mouth, and I didn't want to, chug. It's very sweet. Oy.
Well, maybe I'll give it a little whirl. Not to say that, the sweetness of the whiskey makes me think I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm. Oh, why is it so sweet? I don't know. Anyway, that's all out of the way. So we got my top 10 list. My top 10 list. I should clarify, these are not what I think the best movies of the year are. These are my favorite movies of the year. Also, I didn't see everything, so if I left something out that you like, my bad. I didn't see, just for example, I didn't see Roma. I didn't see Green Book. I didn't see If Beale Street Could Talk. I didn't see Venom. People like Venom.
I wanted to see it, but not enough to see it.
Yeah, totally. So my 10 movies in reverse order from least favorite to most favorite, and then I got some honorable mentions we're gonna do. Before we get into it, do you want to talk about your favorite movies, or should we just assume that whatever will be on my list?
Let's just go ahead and jump into your thing, and maybe I'll throw some things in.
Okie dokie. So number 10 is mid-90s. Just watched it yesterday, and it slotted in the 10th spot.
I watched that with you. That was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to expect other than skateboards from the trailer, but
yeah, skateboards and adolescence. It was really good. Jonah Hill wrote and directed it. The casts are all really good. It reeks of the 90s. It took me right back to when I was 9, 10 years old. The only negative thing I have to say about it really is, and not even negative, it's more of a warning, is they use a lot of gay slurs as insults, as we did back in the day. So if you're not into people calling each other faggot, don't watch that movie. Because it's every other word, basically. But it's really, really good. It gave me all the emotional feels of being an adolescent and all that good stuff. I liked it better than 8th Grade, which is the other kind of adolescent movie.
I did not see that.
Bo Burnham directed that one. That didn't make my list, but... So that's number 10, is Jonah Hill's directorial debut, mid-90s. Fucking, that dude had a good year. Yeah. He's going to show up again on this list, actually.
Also, the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, soundtrack is bumping. Let's see. Number 9 was Blind Spotting, another little independent film. This one was directed by Carlos Lopez Estrada. It's basically Clerks, but with a social justice, not social justice, but a social mind. It's 2 dudes, one of whom has been on probation for a year, and it's the last 4 days of probation before he's free to have a life again. And his friend is kind of a shithead. So it's them just kind of dicking around and delivering. They work at a moving company, so they'll come to a house and load shit up.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just the 2 of them kind of killing time. And on the way home one night, trying to get home before curfew for probation, the main character, David Diggs, who plays Jefferson in Hamilton, he witnesses a shooting, a cop shoot an unarmed black person. And that becomes kind of the emotional, he's fucked up from that. I don't want to spoil too much about it, but it's got a very great hip-hop kind of mentality in the filmmaking. The characters occasionally will start improvising and riffing. There's a name for that. Where you rap on the corner with your friends.
Yeah, freestyle? Or
yes, they will thank you. They will do freestyling and kind of make shit up as they go along, and it gets you into the idea that hip hop and rapping is a kind of its own language. So at the end, David Diggs has what normally would just be a big climactic monologue, instead is a 4-minute improvised rap. and it's super fucking emotional and super powerful. And that was the scene that I was like, this is so going in my top 10, and I watched it 3 times in a row because it's fucking impressive. Also, if you've seen Hamilton or listen to Hamilton, that song Lafayette, it's really fucking fast. That's him. So I also watched it 3 times so I could be like, slow down, brother. Like, what are you saying? Holy crap. So yeah, really good. Really, it's kind of rough to watch. Obviously, there's some social aspects to it, but really good. Number 8 is Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 11/9. Are you aware of this movie?
No.
So obviously everyone knows Fahrenheit 9/11. I don't like that one very much. So on November 9th, 2016, that was the Wednesday after Election Day.
Okay.
So everybody woke up and went, what the fuck?
Right.
President Trump is the president. So the movie is about how we got there and what's happened since, and it uses Flint as a microcosm for corruption in politics and connects that.
Flint, Michigan?
Yeah, because that's where he's from. It uses that as a kind of microcosm for corruption in politics and uses that as like the world, and it's really good and really like funny at times, but also really fucking like depressing and sad.
Yeah. I feel like it would be a whole lot of like, well, this is how shit is.
But Michael Moore, if you've seen his movies, most of them tend to have kind of a positive slant to them. Like he likes to end on a positive note if he can. And this one, it's all about the youth. So they go into the Parkland kids who like formed their own. We're gonna get rid of guns after the shooting happened.
Yeah.
And they basically got a guy running for Senate to resign because like the senator who was running unopposed posted something about one of the Parkland kids that was like fucking lesbian with her dyke haircut, and on Twitter, and everybody went fuck you, and then like 2 days later he was like, I'm no longer running for Senate. So it ends on a very like, we fucked it all up. It's our fault. Like everybody who was like sitting pretty during the Clinton years, and then we were like, oh, Bush is a dick. But now we got Obama. Cool. All of the adults who were like, you just kind of fucked it all up. It's all right because the next generation is fucking like ready to go. They're organizing, they're forming coalitions, yada yada yada. It's really really good. It's really inspiring. It's really sad, and I like Michael Moore movies, so there it is. Number 7, Mary Poppins Returns. You didn't see that one either, right?
Did not. No.
Any affection for the original?
Fleeting.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember enjoying it as a child, but
I love that movie. I'm more of a Bedknobs and Broomsticks kid. That's what I grew up with. I saw both, but I liked Bedknobs and Broomsticks more as a kid. Mary Poppins is one of those movies that, like, when you realize it got like a shitload of Oscar nominations beyond just like Julie Andrews. Like, yeah, it's really impeccably well made. Like, it's kind of a technological marvel,
right,
for its time, and it's emotional and all that shit.
Yeah, I feel like I need to watch it again as an adult because as a kid I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
babysitter.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good. It's on Blu-ray. Mary Poppins Returns is not as good. This is one of those movies that so would not be on the list if it was a best of collection. It's got flaws in the writing. The music is not that great. The songs are just kind of conventional, which is a bummer because Mary Poppins' original songs are great. It's on the list because the last 10 minutes made me cry out of sheer joy. Like, it got the spirit of Mary Poppins. Also, Lin-Manuel Miranda's in it, and the very first image of the movie is his glorious face turning on lights because he's a lamplighter and he sings a song, and like, I just fucking love it. Emily Blunt's really good in it. The kids are really good in it. The whole cast is good. I like that movie a lot. But it's mostly because the last 10 minutes like ended really strong. So, Mary Poppins Returns. Number 6 is Marvel's Black Panther. I'm gonna let Dan go. We've been talking about this one basically since a year ago when it came out. Again, this would not be on my list if I was doing a best movies of the year list. I don't think it deserves Best Picture nomination. No. But
it's a fine movie. Like, it's just generating so many waves, and yeah, does not deserve the nomination for Best Picture.
No.
Like,
production design, supporting actor, sound design, like, sure, it's technically well made.
Yeah, looks pretty. Well, most of the time. Sometimes it's a little rough, but writing wise, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just can't get behind a superhero movie where I'm kind of rooting for the bad guy until he turns into a racist, genocidal maniac.
Genocide's no good. Yeah, I agree with all that. The writing is definitely the most problematic part of the script. It has a really weird structure. I don't know what T'Challa's goals and wants are. He doesn't really have an arc. Mm-mm. He gets thrown off a cliff and he's in a coma for a minute. Like, it's not great, but the movie's on here because of the moments, the highs. It's the sum of the parts kind of a thing. Like, fucking, I love, on a very basic level, I just love Andy Serkis and his cheesy ass performance. That made me happy. I love Martin Freeman. I love fucking Creed. What's his name? Michael B. Jordan. The cast is just fucking great, and there's enough moments with all of them that I really love. Also, stupid shit, like when they go into the nightclub in, I think it's in Korea.
Yeah.
They walk in and, like, it's like a black dress, a green dress, or a black suit, a red dress, and a green dress, and they walk in and it's the colors of the Pan-African flag, and that was not an accident. Like the texture, like trying to create something about like what if there was a country that wasn't fucked up by years of colonialism and slavery and all that shit. Like I love the texture of it. Also, there's just certain lines of dialogue. Michael B. Jordan's last line of dialogue is one of the best of the year. You know, like, hey man, we could save you. We maybe pull that knife out of you. It's, nah, man, just bury me at sea. Because even my ancestors knew it's better to, die in the ocean than live life in a cage. That's in a fucking superhero movie. Like, that's dark. It's deep. So yeah, it's got flaws, but I just fucking really, really enjoy it for when it's good. That's why it's not at number 5. Speaking of which, number 5, another movie nobody's heard of. Don't worry, he won't get far on foot. I talked to you about this one.
Talk to me about a lot of movies.
Yes. That's right. So this is the other Jonah Hill thing. This is what's his fucking name? Gus Van Sant movie. Gus Van Sant is most known for indie flicks like My Own Private Idaho and Milk. And then his more mainstream stuff would be Finding Forrester and Good Will Hunting. So he's been off the radar for a minute. Since Milk, basically. This movie it's not getting a lot of awards nominations, which is a bummer. It's a true story about a comic book artist who was, before he was a comic book artist, he was a raging alcoholic and became paralyzed from kind of the mid-chest down. And he goes to AA and he starts drawing really fucked up comics that are not very sensitive. And people were like, you can't write that. And he's like, I'm in a wheelchair, I can do whatever I want. And Joaquin Phoenix plays the dude, the comic, and Jonah Hill plays the AA sponsor. The head of the AA, a very exclusive AA club. And it's just fucking good. Like, the editing in it is wonderful. The screenplay jumps around from him in a wheelchair, him before the wheelchair. You don't really see the accident happen until about halfway through the movie.
Okay.
It's telling the story in a bunch of different pieces, but you're never lost. You're just intrigued. Jack Black shows up to be the dude who, like, I was gonna go home. I was at this party, I was drunk, I was bored, and then I met this dude. Like, if you've ever gone out drinking, he's the guy who shows up when you're already shit-faced, and he's also shit-faced, and you're like, we're gonna fuck shit up together right now! You know what I mean? It's that thing. And fucking Jonah Hill has the best supporting performance of the year, aside from maybe Michael B. Jordan, for me. He is so fucking good and charming. He's the kind of performance that, like, when the movie ended, I was like, oh yeah, Jonah Hill isn't actually an alcoholic gay person.
Right.
Like, he just played it perfectly. It's really inspiring, it's really funny, it's really uplifting, it's really dark from time to time. It's also kind of sexy in a couple scenes. There's a little love story going on. I recommend it a lot. It was on Hulu for a minute. I don't know if it is anymore. Seek out Sorry to Bother You, or not Sorry to Bother You, Don't Worry You Won't Get Far on Foot. It's really good. Don't Worry You Won't Get Far on Foot. 4, Sorry to Bother You. I've been wanting to get everyone I know to watch this movie, and I've not succeeded. I can't really say anything about it, because I don't want to. It's one of those movies that the less you know, the better. It's really good. Go see Sorry to Bother You. No, it's a social satire. It's the best satire I've seen in a long time. It is one of the most ballsy, like, I'm making my first movie. Everyone pay the fuck attention. Like, it's a real, like, here are my nuts. Like, I'm making a movie kind of movie. It's great. The screenplay is fucking genius. The performances are all really cool. It is, like, magical realism weirdness. It's great. It is fucking great. And it has a left turn moment. Well, the movie's full of left turn moments. There's one in particular where you go like, what the fuck? It's awesome. So, Sorry to Bother You is on Hulu. Check it out. Boots Riley wrote and directed that one. Number 3, Avengers Infinity War. You've seen that one.
I have.
Thoughts on its placement on my list?
Well, seeing as how I haven't seen about 6 of these movies, no. But,
well, like, you're annoyed that Black Panther's on the list. Does Infinity War at least make sense?
No, so I'm not annoyed. This is your list.
Yes.
So I'm not annoyed that it's on your list.
Sure.
I totally understand why it's on your list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm annoyed that it got nominated for Best Picture.
Right, okay.
And people are holding it on
I do think Infinity War should have been nominated for Best Picture of the Year.
Infinity War was good. You know my one gripe.
I do.
And it's not my one gripe, but it's like a glaring plot hole.
It's not necessarily a plot hole.
Not a plot hole, but
it's a weird, like, fake out thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Which, I don't know, how are we getting into spoilers?
Everybody's fucking seen the Avengers, so yeah, you can go ahead.
It's just a real quick thing. So, in the first, 10 minutes of the movie?
Something like that, yeah.
Where you're introduced to Thanos' minions. They show up in New York City, and they are fighting with Doctor Strange and Iron Man.
And Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man, he's there. and I don't remember if it's actually Doctor Strange himself.
It's
or
Wong.
It's Wong?
Yeah.
Uses the Doctor Strange magicness.
The portal.
To open a portal over the dude's like arm, and then closes the portal, and the dude's arm gets sent to like Nepal or something.
Yeah.
Basically, he cuts the guy's arm off with portal magic.
Which feels like a little bit like, oh, okay, that's what's gonna happen later. It's a
Right.
setup, and they don't do that.
And then later on, they have Thanos completely incapacitated.
Doctor Strange is there.
And Doctor Strange is there, having looked over all of the possible scenarios, and apparently that wasn't one of them. They couldn't have just cut his arm off.
I'm with you. It makes my list for the sheer fact of like, there was like 19 characters in that movie, and they all work.
Yeah.
The structure is pretty solid. The action sequences are well done. I love all the characters, and like the ballsy choice to make Thanos the protagonist from a structural level is great.
Yeah.
Like, he's the one we meet first, he's the one with the 3-act structure, he's the one who actually accomplishes his goal by the end of the movie. I fucking love Infinity War. But it's not the best superhero movie of the year.
No.
Number 2 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Holy shit.
There was a debate for a while internally with me between Spider-Verse and my number 1 about which one I was going to do. And I rewatched the number 1, which we'll get to in a minute, recently, and I was like, okay, I know what I have to do now in terms of me, my personal favorite movie of the year. But holy fuck, Spider-Verse is close. It may be the best superhero movie ever made.
Yeah.
It is definitely the best Spider-Man movie ever made. It is one of the best animated movies ever made. It is stupidly good on all levels.
I don't ever go to see a movie in theaters twice while it's running. Ever. And I did with Spider-Verse. Like less than 2 weeks apart, I think.
It is fucking great. It's the story of Miles Morales in and of itself is already really interesting and heartwarming and great. But the way they managed to be like, there's also 7 other Spider-Man in this movie, and it's not going to ruin the fact that there's only one Spider-Man. Like the theme of like you're alone but we're together is perfect. The music is fucking amazing. One of the best soundtracks of the year. The animation is stupid.
It's gorgeous.
And they do this thing where it's like it's like a comic book. So like there's some out of sequence, like out of focus shots that are like almost jarringly difficult to look at because it looks like a 1960s comic book.
Yeah, at parts when I was first watching it, it felt like I needed to have 3D glasses on.
Yeah.
But I mean, aesthetically, it felt like you were like watching a comic book.
Yeah. And it also does something, spoilers for the first 20 minutes of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They fucking killed Peter Parker in like the first 20 minutes. And before he dies, he has like 7 lines of dialogue. And those 7 lines of dialogue were the most Spider-Man thing I'd ever heard in any movie. So I'm in the theater just like, this is the best Spider-Man ever. He's gonna die? Fuck! And then from there, it just kind of gets better. Gwen Stacy is very fucking kick-ass and cool. Fucking Spider-Man Noir is awesome. Nick Cage. Yeah, I can't say enough about it. Another movie that I could go like beat for beat and go through the whole story with, but just like sorry to bother you, it's better if you just go watch it. There are some twists and turns here that are fucking great. And the last 20 minutes of that movie is the most visually dense, complicated, but I'm never lost sequence I've ever seen, maybe. It is like fucking wow. Before I get to number 1, I'm going to do my honorable mentions real quick. Stuff that I loved. At one point it might have been on the list. I kicked it off. I just wanted to mention them. One is Hearts Beat Loud with Nick Offerman. It's fucking great. It's a very sweet little father-daughter story. It's a coming-of-age story. Father and daughter write songs together, and they're going to form a band. Nick Offerman, that's all he wants to do in life is play music. She's going to school to be a doctor. And he's kind of a dick about it. And the movie does not end on a, like, then she doesn't go to med school and they write songs together thing. Like, he gets to be a good dad. You know what I'm saying? Also, her story of, like, having to say goodbye to the life she knows to go to med school, it all kind of ends on a really bittersweet, sad note, which I really appreciated, because it's the kind of movie that absolutely could have gone the other way and, like, kind of undercut the tension and drama. Nick Offerman's a fucking brilliant actor. He is so goddamn good in this movie. He gets to sing a few different songs. Also in it is Ted Danson.
Never heard him sing.
Yeah. Also in it is, yeah, he's good. Also in it is Ted Danson from Cheers fame and The Good Place and a bunch of other stuff. He plays a bartender, which always makes me smile. Whenever I see Ted Danson behind a bar, I'm just like, right on. You were in Cheers. It's really, really sweet. It's just good. It's good stuff. The music isn't phenomenal, but it is catchy and heartwarming and great. And yeah, it's got some sequences with the two of them are in a room writing a song together, and you see the creation, the birth of the song, and it has that like I want to go do something. It makes you want to be creative in the best way. So that's why it's on the list. Number 2 is Mandy. I'm not saying anything about Mandy. Nick Cage and LSD and fucking weird. Go watch it.
Sold.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. If the first hour was a little bit shorter or a little bit better paced, it would have been on the list somewhere. But as it is now, fucking definitely go watch it. Number 3, honorable mentions, Like Father. It's on Netflix. This is a father-daughter story again. It's Kelsey Grammer and Kristen Bell. He hasn't seen her since she was 5 years old. She gets left at the altar on her wedding day, and they get shit-faced, the two of them, father and daughter, and they wake up on her honeymoon on a cruise. So they're stuck together. They have to kind of deal with their shit. It's very funny. It's very dark. The climax is a karaoke contest. I like it. Seth Rogen's in it, but not really as a love interest, but just as like a dude. Like they don't do the like I'm also gonna fall in love on this cruise thing. Like by the end of the movie, they're both still broken people, but they've reached some kind of something. So this is one of the ones where I'm like, yeah, I get it. I have daddy issues, but it's well done daddy issues. The performances carry a very simple premise. Kelsey Grammer's brilliant in it. Next is Game Night. Fucking fun. That movie's way better than it has any right to be.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's stupid. It's so well shot. Like they do wide shots of suburbia that looks like life, like the board game.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's forced perspective shots throughout the movie that make everything feel like they're like a cup of coffee. It looks like a game piece more than it looks like an actual cup of coffee.
Huh.
Stuff like that. It is just thoughtful in the way it's shot. The cast is fucking great. The premise is silly. It's also like it would be a solid thriller, legitimately. It would be a solid like, okay, this is interesting and like tense, but they just treat it like a comedy. And it works on all those levels. The cast is great, and the ending is satisfying, and it's got one of my favorite, like, I think it's in the trailer, so I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it. There's a moment where Rachel McAdams, Jason Bateman's wife, I got a text. Rachel McAdams, Jason Bateman's wife in the movie, is fighting like a bad guy, and he like is on top of a plane chasing her, then he slips and falls and gets sucked into the engine. Like the car's on the runway, and she goes, "Yeah! Oh! He died!" And it's just, like, it's good. Like, that movie is better, it's better than it has any right to be for such a simple premise. And they said they shot it well. There's, like, an action sequence involving a Fabergé egg that's a one-take chase through, like, a big-ass mansion. That's one of the best, like, shots of the year. It's really well done.
Wow.
And last but not least on the honorable mentions is Hereditary. This movie is solid, mostly for Toni Collette. But it also does something that I've never seen movies do in a long time, which is it did something 30 minutes in that the trailers did not allude to and changed the whole fucking movie. And I was in.
Oh, so
I told you
from
about
when you watch the trailer, you kind of...
Oh, okay, I get it.
Okay.
Sure.
And then 30 minutes in, it just throws that idea away.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was sitting there going, okay. There's an hour and a half left of this fucker. Okay, let's see what happens next. It would have made my top 10 probably, mostly for that jarring shift and for Toni Collette's performance. Holy fuck, she should have been Oscar nominated for it. But the last 10 minutes kind of lost me. Happens in horror movies. Mm-hmm. So that's my honorable mentions. Real quick, 10 was mid-90s, 9 was Blind Spotting, 8 was Fahrenheit 11/9, 7 Mary Poppins Returns, 6 Black Panther, 5 Don't Worry, You Won't Get Far on Foot, 4 Sorry to Bother You, 3 The Avengers Infinity War, 2 was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and number 1, my favorite movie of the year, and I think also the best movie of the year that I saw last year, is Spike Lee's Black Klansman. Black KKK Landsman. I fucking love this movie. You just watched it last week?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Like I wasn't really sure what I was expecting going in. I mean, I knew the premise, but I didn't know the story, and it's based on a true story.
Yeah, based on a memoir.
And no, it's extremely well done. Heavy,
but also really funny.
But funny, yeah. And
let me think. It's got 4 nominations, I believe: screenplay, picture, director, and supporting actor for Kylo. Fucking what's his name? Adam Driver. You have not seen Spike Lee movies before, right? Not that you know of.
No, I don't. I mean, okay. No, nothing comes to mind. I can't tell you for sure.
Right. So that's the other thing about like going into this movie. If you're a Spike Lee fan, about 4 seconds into the movie, the title pops on screen and it says "Disjoints based on some for real shit." And I was like, oh man, Spike Lee's gonna make a movie. And it's been a while since Spike Lee made something that I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like it's been a bit since he made a great movie. This movie is up there with like some of his best work ever. Once again, it's kind of a social satire, but it's also a true fucking story.
Yeah.
Like, the performances are all amazing. The premise, if you don't know, is the first ever black policeman in Colorado Springs.
Yes.
Calls the KKK out of the blue. There's a like fucking ad for it in the paper. So he calls the KKK out of the blue and tells them he's a white man and he wants to join their organization. And in order to do that, obviously, he needs a white cop to go in and pretend to be him. So it's two different cops, one black, one white, playing a fake Nazi character.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna go fucking take the Klan down. That's the premise of the movie. It is at times horrifying. It's at times really fucking tense. That scene in the basement with Adam Driver and the dude with the gun and the lie detector test. Holy shit. That's probably why he got the Oscar nomination for performance, I think. It's also got my favorite sequence of the year, which is it's intercut. It's two different scenes intercut together with this great score. It's a scene of Klan members being, like, entered into the Klan. They're being accepted. It's the ceremony. Mm-hmm. And that's intercut with a black civil rights leader played by Harry Belafonte. And he's telling a story about witnessing a friend of his get dragged in the street, have his limbs cut off, have his dick cut off.
And that was in the 20s or something?
Yeah. Set on fire. And there's pictures. And this really happened. So we're hearing this story about suffering and pain and racism and hatred intercut with people just fucking celebrating and watching Birth of a Nation and throwing popcorn at the screen because black people, and it's such a conflicting, like, gaudy level of hatred in the world. Mm-hmm. It's just fucked up.
Yeah, and displaying it, because it's their initiation ceremony, with, like, you know, when it shifts to them, it's in a positive light, it's jovial, they're happy, celebrating the hate. Yeah, celebrating the exact horrifying story that we're hearing. Yeah. And it's just powerful filmmaking. At that point, so, you know, the white cop's the one being initiated into it. At that point, the black cop is up in the rafters watching the ceremony happen. And the look on his face says it all. Just like, God damn it. Mm-hmm. Just the fucking evil in the room. That's my favorite sequence of the year. The reason I had a problem trying to decide between BlacKkKlansman and Spider-Verse is my other favorite sequence of the year is Miles Morales finally becoming Spider-Man and swinging his ass through New York City to that bitchin' song. What's up, Danger? And they're... Can't stop it now! Yeah! And the thing is, emotionally, they could not be on further ends of the spectrum. Right. But I feel like the BlacKkKlansman one is way harder to do. I rarely see that in movies. And it worked. Not that they didn't, you know, not that feeling joy in a superhero movie or a kid's movie is also not easy to do, but... Right. I'm a grown up now, and I don't know, there's something about it. And just the way they both end, like, Spider-Verse ends and you go like, I want to be a better person. It does have that in you. But it is just a cartoon at the end of the day. It's a superhero story. BlacKkKlansman ends, and you're like... everybody to be a better person. Yeah, like, it's... So it's really torn. Also, this is one of those things I hate to admit, but I'm going to. The elitist filmmaker in me is like, I don't know, one of them involved cameras and actors, and they had to go do shit. The other one's just a cartoon. Which I know is completely fucking stupid. I know how hard it is. I understand, but it's like, inherently what I love about cinema is the team building, like, it's the let's go build, that's why I love Force Awakens so much. Like, let's go build some things and point a camera at it and make a fucking movie. Like, fuck, there's sun's out, we needed shadow today. Like, all that little stuff that you don't have to deal with in a cartoon. But at the same time, in a cartoon, anyway, I didn't see a lot of the Oscar-nominated movies, so BlacKkKlansman is the one I think should win. That was all I was going to say. Any final thoughts? Not really. We're not going to watch the Oscars, are we?
I don't have a way to.
Nah.
So,
well.
Yep. See you next time.
Oh, wait. Hold that thought.
Okay.
What the fuck was that?
It was a copy of Serenity. I feel like alcohol's coming.
It's your birthday.
It is my birthday. Going well. Also, I know I'm wearing a Batman hoodie, but Spider-Man's better.
Well, yeah. I mean, pretty much, objectively. Alright, well, happy birthday, George.
Thank you,
happy 30th.
30 years. My favorite movie of the year is a cartoon. Almost. See you, kids. Don't push button. Nope. Little red one? Yeah.